what is the main thing that a partner is going to have to remember when they want to do this, and how do they protect themselves?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so the first thing I'll say is it depends on what the actual workload is, right? So if we're talking Microsoft 365, Dynamics, or security, that's what I can go through right now, and it's a relatively simple process that Sherman's got slides on. When you're talking about Azure, it's a little bit more complex. And that's because there's not necessarily like a one-click button migration that allows you to go from an EA environment to a CSP environment for the majority of partners out there. And I know I've gotten a lot of feedback from my partner base that they've said, I don't understand the strategy because it's essentially a brand new migration and it's causing, an opportunity for the customer to really just reevaluate what they want to do. That said, it is relatively simple from the modern work side, and that's what I wanted to go through because I think in my mind this really shows you that this is happening and there's a momentum to get this initiative off the ground. And so what you'll notice here, Sherman's got the basic user flow on the screen. Essentially how this works is the customer has to accept an agreement with you inside of Partner Center for as a reseller relationship, right? They associate with you, you send them a link, they accept. And when that actually happens, you're now able to see their EA inside of your Partner Center. So you'll be able to click on them as your customer, and it'll show you this is when their current EA is going to expire. Let's say, for example, at the end of June, or in this case, it's January 23rd of 25, right? And you'll notice it actually tells you what's included, right? In this case, they had 125 licenses for E3, and it also tells you, can you renew this to CSP, right? Not everything is going to be able to get renewed into a CSP agreement. It's just the reality. However, I think one of the most important takeaways that I want to make very clear, and you'll notice if you go through these slides later on, it specifically spells it out, because I know this was a big question for a lot of partners. Yes, if you have a current agreement that has Teams inside of the enterprise suite, if you renew it inside of your renewal window, you can actually keep Teams as a part of that license agreement. So what does that mean for these EA customers? It's a really big deal because if they can't renew the EA and they're going to have to go through CSP, if they don't do it within their required timeline, it's going to be a lot more expensive for them moving forward because they're going to have to start paying for Teams separately. Now, there's also another caveat I want to throw in there that's, I think, very important for everybody to understand. And it's nice to see a lot of us who answered the poll already have something in place for how we're targeting these customers. I think that's absolutely critical because it's all about timing here, you guys. When the customer accepts the relationship with you as the partner inside of Partner Center and you go through the process of selecting renew to CSP, you're essentially locking in that customer to work with you directly.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Pin for a second. I was going to repeat that, but on the user experience, okay, can a partner right now go into their partner center and see all their customers that are eligible for EA renewals? Right now, without doing anything, without sending any type of relationship, can they see anything?
Only if they have the relationship with that specific customer.
Okay, that's what I want to get at here. Is
Mhm.
right now, if you go to the portal and you go to home, customers, customer list, and channel transfers, when you hit channel transfers today, right now, you're going to see nothing in there. Okay, because what you need to do is list all of your EA customers first, and you need to send them the link, okay, to become or to create that relationship, the CSP relationship, okay, the reseller relationship. When they click on that and they say yes to that, okay, then you're going to see the information in the partner portal. Okay,
Yes.
that's really important to understand. So now I'm going to get back to let's talk about and this. Remember what I said earlier about, hey, it's the wall is going to lift up and we're all going to be running, right? Well, I bet you right now all of these LARs are doing this right now. So let's go back to that point that you made about locking in your customer. Let's reiterate that. You want to reiterate that?
Yeah, so you see right there where Sherman's showing on his screen, it's underlined in blue. It says renew in CSP, okay? You'll essentially click on that. It has some other slides where you can click on the exact number of licenses, all these other different things. The point is, when you go through that process and you submit that, you're basically telling Microsoft that with the customer's consent, they've decided to work with me and I will be their CSP moving forward with X number of licenses. And you're locked in. The only person who can remove that, they actually mentioned this on the call, is you now as the partner. So the faster you get to this exact moment and you renew it, the likelier you are to actually have that customer work with you directly because you're in charge of it now. And so the reason I'm saying this is a lot of times these larger customers that have EAs today, they're working with several services partners for different types of opportunities. And so if you're one of the three partners they're working with, let's say, and the other one of the other three gets ahead of you and they establish the relationship and they click renew, even though you're way more qualified, they like you more, guess what? They're locked in unless the customer can convince them to release that. So the faster we get here, the more impactful it's going to be for your business. And I would definitely suggest we get moving on that ASAP.